Then this part we will show you the release. We will show you how our latest QTS-435 can make your SSD more powerful, and the efficient will be better.
Yeah. I think everybody knows the benefit of the SSD. It has higher IOPS, and the performance is quite good. But before, the problem is the cost.
Yeah, it's
cost
high.
is pretty high. But right now, currently the price of the SSD is drop a lot. I think it is almost affordable for all the enterprises. And so you can leverage the SSD. How you're gonna leverage them? You can use it as a tier or SSD cache in the QTS. Right? That is the basic function in the QTS right now. So of course the 83XU support Q tier and SSD cache. But I think maybe sometimes you will find something. At the beginning you use the SSD and it's quite fast, but after a while the performance of the SSD is getting lower, right? So that is we call that as write amplification in the SSD architecture, because it's a little bit different from the hard drive. If you have the data deleted then, and you cannot write new data into the block right away, you have to remove, clean up, and then sometimes you need to move the data. So it's a little bit slower after you use the SSD for a while. So that's the reason SSD vendors, they provide a function in the SSD. They call that as over provisioning. The idea is they reserve a space for the write. Okay, so if the SSD is almost full, and when there are new data comes into the SSD, the data will go into the reserve space first, and then they can arrange or do the garbage collection. And the same idea, we are going to use this function. We implement this function in the QTS. That means before only SSD has this function, and QNAP use the same idea and implement this function in QTS. You are able to configure the over provisioning space via the QTS. Okay, so right now it's a little bit hard for you to choose SSD because different vendors, different controller, different hardware, and you have different performance. It's a little bit hard for our customer, but just choose QNAP solution, because QNAP just doing something like a software defined over provisioning. We implement this function in our QTS.
You haven't mentioned about the name of the app. SSD profiling tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Download our SSD profiling tool.
As long as your firmware version is the latest, and you can download it on our App Center, then you can try to configure your own SSD for the ratio of your over provisioning.
Yeah, correct. Sorry, forgot about that. Okay, with SSD, you can also do cache, just like before, but for the QTS 4.3.5 or later, we support a new global cache, that is write-only cache. We want to do this because some of the applications, most of them just write data into the storage, not just like a read and write, read and write. So this write-only cache function would benefit for this kind of application, such as if you are always collecting data or store data, just like IoT environment, or collect data.
Researcher.
Yes. You just the idea of the storage is putting data inside. You hardly read from them because you are collecting data. So the write cache is quite good for this kind of application.
Yes.
Okay? And we have Q tier, and Q tier is an auto tiering function. We combine SSD and hard drive all together, and we are going to move hard data to the SSD and cold data or warm data to the hard drive. But it is based on the a schedule. Like every morning, 10 p.m. 10 10 a.m., you can do the schedule. We are going to analyze the data and move the data around. And now we have Q-tier 2.0. We call that as I/O array tiering in real time. That means for the Q-tier 2.0, we also the SSD can also leverage as an SSD cache. So that means you have Q-tier auto tiering function and the SSD cache function at the same time.
Yeah.
And this is our, you can say this is our suggestion for you. If you are a file server, you can leverage the SSD as a Q-tier function. You can configure the SSD rate as a RAID 6 and have the SSD over provisioning 10%.
Yes.
And this is just for our customer. It's kind of a reference for our customers. Okay.
Well, we're going to the last part, which is also a kind of protection to your NAS and your data file in our latest version of QTS. First thing is the RTO, because we know that most of the enterprises, they want to get their old services back as soon as possible. So we have done a little research. 50% of the businesses, they want they can recover everything within 1 hour when they having any disaster, but most of them are facing a problem is they will get that back over 1 day. So RTO is a very important thing. It's called recover time objective. So the shorter the RTO is, the better the enterprise will have. So we know about this. So the next part is, now we can provide you a more powerful and more efficient snapshot. Since we can provide you snapshot vault, that I can back up the snapshot from NAS A into NAS B and take NAS B as our vault. And now the new function is you don't really have to get to that NAS and take the snapshot back to your own NAS. Then you can check the content and you can do the recovery. You can just directly check from the remote side NAS, and then you can do whatever you want. Like you want to directly clone another copy inside of the NAS B, or you want to get it back. It's all by your choice. So speaking of the snapshot vault, since we will back up our snapshot like every day or schedule, so the data file will be really huge. So at this moment, it's not good enough for you to use only 1 gigabit of the internet transmission speed, because that will give you a lot and a very long recovering time. So that is why we keep on saying and mentioning about having a 10 gigabit network is very important. Now a lot of QNAP NAS from the high end, middle end, and the entry level end NAS, they all have the 10 gigabit network by your choices. And of course, since we just talked about the 25 gigabit with our Melnax and the fiber channel in the future, you will have faster recovering time when you want to get things back from your snapshot vault NAS. And here's another way: if you are having a snapshot file size as big as like terabyte level, it is impossible for you to get everything recovered in through your internet, especially when you are having an international backup vault. Like maybe Taiwan and Japan, you want to recover your NAS like 2 or 3 terabytes through the network is a waste of time. So the best method for you is to export your snapshot into a file, maybe burn that in a CD, and you can use Express to send it back to your place. Then you can import the snapshot back. So that is also another way we can provide you. Hence, we now provide you several ways to protect all your data and to give you a better option to help you to get a better efficient on your SSD or something else. So the first thing is we now provide you the software-defined SSD profiling tool that you can define your own over-provisioning ratio. And the second is we provide you multiple ways to choose how you can use your SSD as a cache, or you can use it with our exclusive function Q-tier. Then the most important thing is to protect your data and shorten your what is that? RTO. So these are the new things in our QTS 435. So if you haven't upgraded your NAS, please do it. And these are the information we want to introduce to you in the topic of our TS-x83XU today. So if you want to change your NAS or you want to upgrade your server room, please consider about this. So let's go back to live. And I truly appreciate David here to introduce us such a powerful rack mount type NAS which can support you a variety of flexibility, no matter it's on the PCI Express card or the processor and the DRAM.
Yes.
So if you want to know more about our wide range of our product list, please go to QNAP.com. If you want to see more about our video, please go to live.qnap.com and use any keyword as you want to search.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will see you next time on QNAP Live Broadcast. Bye.
Bye.